Hi, I'm Bree.
And I'm Charlie. And we're the
And
TBI
we're the
Rockstars.
Rockstars. Yeah.
Woo!
And we're still brain recovering people.
We are. That hasn't changed. But life's going pretty good, I think. Agree?
Yeah, we're managing to kind of rumble along, right?
It's true. I mean, I feel even better than that. With you having a job and me successfully having moved. I mean, that's good.
We're doing awesome.
We are. I mean, life is so much better the more you like. Life is so much better the more you can do. But I think having learned how to do things and what not to do has been an important part of our success.
I agree. Not only have we improved over the last six years?
Six
Almost 7. Not only have we improved, we've also just gotten better at like knowing what we can do and what we can't do.
Yes. And that brings us to today's topic, which is multitasking. Or really what I like to call the myth of multitasking. Because, oh, your full attention wasn't on me there, Bree? Let me say, multitasking. The myth of multitasking. So science research has shown that multitasking isn't actually the brain doing multiple things at once. It's the brain switching between tasks really, really quickly so that you can feel like you're doing a bunch of things, but actually you're switching between each task individually over and over and over again.
Yep.
So I don't know about you, Bree. I mean, I was never really a fan of that beforehand, before my injury, but I know since my injury, there's no way in hell I can multitask. There's just no possibility. There's no reality where I can multitask successfully. How about you?
So, Charlie, are you more of like a planner? Like a methodical planning person?
By nature, yes. I'm a J.
Because I don't know if you know this about me, but I like to procrastinate a lot.
I remember
and then do this and hope I can get everything done in time. Even though I put it all off forever.
I see.
So before my brain injury, I mean, I accomplished incredible feats. I am in a Hall of Fame somewhere for.
I believe it. Well, I mean, because you have so many thoughts in that noggin of yours. I know you have like a million different thoughts going. And so I could imagine how many things you did, like how many different things you did really quickly.
Every day I was weaving together a million different things for my job, along with usually like helping a friend or two that was in some sort of crisis. And then sometimes there was like animal care thrown in. And then, you know, sometimes I was like signing petitions or trying to like do something politically active. So I would just like always have sort of like this tornado of stuff going on. And in some ways I was really happy like that because it really held my attention. It was like busy and exciting. And I find that sort of seductive.
Right. Well, it feels good to accomplish things too. It's like really satisfying.
The seduction of productivity.
Ooh, that should be a title of another one.
Our best-selling book coming out next year.
Perfect. Yeah. Well, before my injury, I mean, I probably could have done that somewhat, but that didn't suit my nature. I found I don't like to be. Earlier in my life, I believed in like working myself to the bone and doing like a million different things, but I found I didn't actually enjoy that. So I like to do less things and actually be there in the moment and enjoy them, whether I'm reading a book or
that just sounds
washing the dishes. Like I was just there doing it. Sometimes I'd listen to an audio book or something, maybe if I was washing dishes, but like, because it just felt more satisfying and I didn't like to feel frantic or busy. Like busy was unpleasant to me before my injury.
I get bored.
Like, yeah, bored. And I think my lady is the same way. Yeah. But you know, there's that different way brain work, right? I kind of have a more masculine brain in some way. Is like I have like one thought, maybe two, most three going on, and like I know my lady, and I'm guessing you have like 37 things going on, like all at the same time, and that's just not. It just feels too too hard. Anyway, but back to our multitasking thing. So you used to multitask quite a bit all through the day, it sounds like. And I did
Yeah.
for my work a little bit, but I created a situation where that wasn't necessary and I didn't like it. But now I definitely can't. And now can you?
So I want to say that I feel like I've watched you be much better about recognizing that your capacity has changed
Mm-hmm.
and then making a logical, sane plan that takes that into account.
Uh-huh.
And so you march along maybe at a different pace than you used to before, but in many ways you're still very capable of accomplishing
Mm-hmm.
whatever goals you choose.
That's nice. It feels frantic and weird sometimes, but I appreciate it comes
You're
across as like,
so consistent.
I'm consistent. You're right, actually. That is one thing I do provide, consistency.
For me, because I have a theory that people are either habit people or adapting people.
Mm-hmm.
And I am someone who adapts. I like notice what's different about today and I adapt, or I notice what's different about people in a meeting and I adapt. And so I'm very good at adjusting to like crisis situations or high pressure things. I can come up with a big new plan like on the spur of the moment. What I can't do is like give the dog his meds at 9 a.m. every single day. Falls apart for me. So what I found is that after my brain injury,
Mm-hmm.
I was still trying to function the way I was used to functioning, but that way of functioning, I think falls apart harder in some ways than
I could see that. Yeah.
the way you do, because I don't have reserves like I used to have reserves. Like I sort of like created a miracle every day just to get through the day.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like I would get big important things done and it would look really awesome that I got them done in such a short amount of time or whatever. But actually there was like this layer of disorganization or like lack of anticipation
Mm-hmm.
in some ways. And so post brain injury, I would think that I could still sort of like summon the fairies to like create a little
Mm-hmm.
miracle of like energy and reserves. And it just wouldn't happen.
Mm-hmm.
And I just kind of like fall flat on my face and like things wouldn't get done for work when I was first volunteering and first trying to get back to work. Or I would tell a friend that I could do something and then I would totally run out of energy and not be able to do it. Or it's like almost turned me into like a bit of a liar because my ability to match what I can actually do
Right,
to
because
what
you
they
hadn't
tell me to do.
processed that change. Right, yeah, that was really hard for me. It took me several years before I could like acknowledge like, well, I might be able to do that, or I
Right.
might not. I can't promise anything. And if it happens, it's kind of a miracle because I like used every little ounce of energy I had to have any happiness or fun in my life to make that happen for you.
It feels like such a grown up, mature, middle aged person thing to like
What
come up with a sane schedule.
do you feel confined?
If I actually make things like not stressful like that, like not so rushing and exciting,
Mhm.
like to me, in some ways, it is still a little boring.
Oh, well, I think that's a good sign actually, Brie, because I feel like I start getting bored with things or like they start irritating me or I feel limited.
Yeah,
As soon as just about the time I'm almost well enough to do more. And so I think that's a
right.
positive thing. But okay. I feel like we're way off topic. I could totally keep on
We're
talking
not.
about
We're not way off topic because my point is that I think multitasking is seductive, and
that.
that it's almost like a drug for someone post brain injury who needs to recover. Like
Well,
you can fall
culturally,
into
it's
that
like
trap.
it's a basic expectation in a lot of jobs. Luckily, none I've chosen to have, but a lot of jobs, especially like admin jobs or things like that, you have to be like deal
Yeah,
with being interrupted all the time, phone call, deal with this person's need, that person's need. Like, I don't see how that's so hard. Like, that's so hard.
and
Um,
I just feel like for people who are used to multitasking and doing a lot of things at once, that like post brain injury, you do have to adjust. to the fact that
Yes.
it's not a good idea anymore, and you do have to try and do things one thing at a time.
People, I think post brain injury, concrete incremental tasks written down are very helpful and necessary. And if someone has never enjoyed that or like that or finds, that's like a whole new skill. It's like you have to go find a new skill versus me. I just had to like pull one out of my closet and like take it out of the box and
Right,
like
exactly.
shine it up. But you had to
Exactly.
like go find a whole new skill, a whole new way to do things.
I have to try and live in your brain.
Which I know must be really boring, especially as you get better.
I'm
I accept
not
that.
I'm not calling you boring by any stretch of the
I don't take
imagination.
it personally. I really prefer just to like have a few things going on, not like a million.
Right. But I do think that, like, when it comes to brain injury recovery, it's the right challenge at the right time, which
Yes.
means that to put together a good comprehensive recovery plan,
Mm-hmm.
you have to be able to do something consistently every day for a week, and then increase it a little bit, like add 5 minutes of exercise and do that again for a
Mm-hmm.
week. And I just don't have the temperament to really excel at that. It's something that I really have to put a lot of time and effort into
Mm-hmm.
to make my brain injury recovery
Useful.
effective.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah, one thing I want to say about multitasking, if there's any believers out there that multitasking really is more efficient, is, I mean, basically I was thinking of this in the shower earlier. Think of multitasking as like, okay, so you have like 6 tasks, and one is like downtown, and one is on the east side, and one is in the rural area, and one is in the suburbs. And so when you're multitasking, basically you do a little something at downtown, and then you go to the west end, and then you go to the, suburbs, what the hell ever I said. And then you go
Right.
here, and then you go there, and then you do. And what I found to be true, so you think you are getting a lot done, but
But you're also not efficient.
well, it depends. I mean, what I will say is that it's using a lot more energy in your brain than you need to, because
Right.
you're running back and forth between places. Your brain is, even though it's like microsecond
Yep.
outlays in your brain, um, after my brain injury, probably longer, it's still energy. And so one thing I found since my injury is that what's really true is it's the transitions that get you. Are
Yes.
transitions you have to account for, things you never had to before, which is like, if once I'm done with this, I'm going to need to lay down for a little bit and give my brain a chance to catch up with the fact I'm not doing this anymore before I go do something else, have a snack, um, take a walk, anything. I just need give my brain time each time I change. Like, even if we're on here, I'm doing this, and Mary comes in and wants to have a word with me. That's entirely, my brain has to change entire track, answer her, and then it has to change all over again coming back here. And usually I'd probably just get a headache, because that's like a lot of brain. So I think why multitasking especially doesn't work after a TBI is because the transitions are very energy intensive with the brain when it's been injured. Plus, because of our lower energy reserves, or like smaller battery, you can't just like randomly spend a bunch of energy running from A, B, C to D, back to A to D to A to C. You can't just do that. I mean, you can if you want to. It's just going to
You
be,
want
you're going
to
to be really
spend your
angry. You're going to be really angry and upset and probably yelling at the end of it because you got overstimulated. And darn, maybe you shouldn't do that the day after. Maybe do something differently the second time. If you end up crying after you do that, try multitasking and it doesn't work.
I mean, you want to spend your energy wisely
Yes.
as a brain injured person.
Yes.
But also, I think it's true that you kind of go from maybe someone who could multitask
Mm-hmm.
to now it's not just that you have to single task, it's that you have to single task, space it out and rest, and then single task again.
I know. It's really quite, it hurts my efficient soul, honestly. It really did for a long time. Now I've adjusted and kind of accepted that this is just my life. But like, it really hurt when I couldn't be efficient anymore. There's just no way to be efficient.
You know what's really still difficult for me? This is such a weird little thing.
Mm.
But like it used to be before the brain injury that I would go like run errands. I might like buy some groceries, stop at the hardware store, like on my way home from work. I'd get
Mhm.
home, I'd unload everything, I'd go walk the dogs. And then after all that, I would kind of like decompress a little bit before I like made dinner or whatever. Now I find that I probably don't work for like an hour before I go to run the errands in the first place. And then I might make it to the hardware store and start to feel a little tired after that and kind of be slogging through the grocery store. And then I get home and I park my car and then I just sit there. I just sit there and I don't get out and I
Aw.
rest. I rest in the car. And part of the reason I do that is because as soon as I walk through my own front door, I have dogs that are expecting to go outside like instantaneously.
Mhm.
But part of it is just because I'm like tired enough that even just like get out of the vehicle with the keys in my hand and unlock the door, like it can
Yeah.
sound like too much in
Yeah,
that moment.
that
Yeah.
makes total sense. I could totally see that. Yeah.
So it's just so different, you know, energy reserves and how we manage them. It's absolutely very different from how
It is.
it used to be. It's like we had won the lottery of like the energy lottery before and we didn't know it.
I
And
know. I know. That's it. Like, you don't realize what you have till you miss it. Like, I didn't realize, honestly, how intelligent I was and how easy everything was.
right?
My brain worked well until it stopped working. Darn. Wish I would
I
have
hear
appreciated that when I had it. Joined
I
Mitchell
hear
like my mom always wanted me to. Not going to happen now.
I know. After having won the lottery, it's hard to go to living on like 30 or 40,000 a year.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
a big change. It's a
Big
big change.
change.
Got to
But
change that budget.
yeah, but I mean, honestly, I will say now, even though things aren't back to what they used to be, and maybe they won't ever be, um, I'm pretty happy with my life, and I feel pretty good
Yeah,
about what I can do. It's not everything I want to do, but I feel relieved because it's more than I could do 2 years ago. And I'd like to think 2 years from now, it'll be more than I can do now.
I agree with that, and it's the same for me. What I will also say is, I used to push through a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Like I used to feel really tired, and I'd just keep going, and it was kind of like fine. Like I'd just sleep for the night and then wake up the next day, and it was fine. And I think now, as soon as I feel like maybe I want to take a nap or maybe I want to like stop working,
Mm-hmm.
for the most part, I just do it. I just do it right away because it is part of that pausing between single tasking. And as soon as I have that urge, like it's probably accurate that that's what I need to do now.
Yeah. Yeah, that's good. And I'm glad that you listened to that. It's really, because I think, at least for me, it took me a long time to learn that. But it really is more efficient in the long run to stop as soon as you start feeling tired.
Agreed.
Rest, give yourself the space and time you need, and then move forward with your day. Yeah.
So to close out this
Oh,
video,
right.
if there's other stuff that you want to talk about, let me know. But to
I don't,
close out this video, I just want to say a little bit about physical therapy and multitasking because part of my brain injury recovery has been exercises like walking while tossing a beanbag back and forth and some things like that. And I will say that I think multitasking in certain physical ways is necessary, like carrying groceries and unlocking your front door or driving even while someone's talking to you. Like there are places where we want to work on it and
right.
like we can like build up our ability to do that under specific circumstances because really helps life go well if you can drive a car and not crash it while the passenger says something to you about where you're going.
Right. Right, but and I agree with you, Bree. There are especially physical things where you want to be able to multitask or listening, talking, having conversations is a multitasking thing. But yes, I guess just be patient and realize those are skills that you have to specifically develop, redevelop,
Exactly.
instead of just expecting them to be there. like you left your keys somewhere. Now your keys aren't there anymore. You're not gonna find your keys. Just make some new keys. Get some new keys made. Anyway, I don't know if that made any sense, but I think that's a good point, Bree. You're just smiling. Okay. Anyway, so this was our conversation on the myth of multitasking and embracing single tasking, which I think is a great term, Bree. Okay.
Single tasking, rest in between. We will leave everyone with that thought.
Yes.
Because it is actually more efficient post-brain injury than multitasking.
On single tasking? Is that what you said?
Single tasking with resting in between.
Yes, single tasking with resting in between. I support it. I vote for that. Okay.
All right, everyone. Bye. We'll see you next time. Bye.